watching this transmission. They've shut us down almost all over the place because we're winning and we're the resistance.
A very credible intelligence source reached out to me and warned of an imminent terrorist attack in the Toronto area in Canada. Subsequently, we know that the Toronto shooting happened. Now that I know that it actually came true, that there was back chatter amongst the intelligence community of an impending terrorist attack in Toronto, which happened, I want to come forward with what this source is claiming is the next imminent terrorist attack, because this one is going to have a much greater role on how free speech and social media continues on in this country.
And I want you to let them know that if there is any terrorism, we know who to blame. If any terrorism comes, it's from this government. And if there was an outside threat like a bin Laden, who was a known CIA asset in the 80s, running the Mujahideen war, and whose family builds all the military bases over in Saudi Arabia right now, he's the boogeyman they need in this Orwellian phony system.
I saw Building 7 come down. The building did come down in complete classical controlled demolition. It came down on its own footprint. There's no question about that. As a matter of fact, Richard Gage from Architects and Engineers has completely handled that from his area of expertise.
Clearly, they're preparing to stage something against themselves. We've gotten intel from multiple sources, and Milley and Gavin have some great sources. They've told them the same thing with intelligence connections that have predicted things before that were accurate, that they're going to build this up, that I'm under censorship, then claim terrorist strike media outlets because I've been censored to once and for all put coffin nails in us. But ahead of them starting the Civil War, ahead of them trying to assassinate Trump and staging terror attacks against themselves, they have to silence us so you don't hear it and see it. But they're not going to stop you. But we're now entering the crucible. This lets you know, buckle yourselves in.
But if you were just joining us at 9 o'clock this morning, an explosion occurred at the Alfred Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City, a blast that was felt for miles away.
A Ryder rental truck with 5,000 pounds of explosives, 168 people were killed, 19 children among them. The rise of white nationalist militias in the 1980s deeply influenced Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh.
Within 35 minutes of OKC bombing happening, they were blaming talk radio and Rush Limbaugh by name.
Conspiracy theories about Waco and Ruby Ridge played in roiling this right-wing movement.
Timothy McVeigh sold bumper stickers with pro-gun, anti-government slogans.
At the time of the Oklahoma City bombing, there was a patriot movement in this country. People were talking about a restoration of the Constitution, the expansion of the police state powers. They were resisting the anti-terrorism legislation that was trying to be passed. After the Oklahoma City bombing, it completely silenced anybody that opposed the globalization agenda.
Now, all libertarians, conservatives, the Republican Party themselves, they're basically terrorists. Here's the headline. Corporate media, McVeigh's anti-government sentiment, now mainstream in Republican Party. Imagine how this would hurt the globalists, because their secret weapon is false flag. It is their go-to zeitgeist. We got to take that weapon away from them.
Apparently, this has been something that's been set up and in the works for a very, very long time by the deep state, and that essentially these terror organizations or groups would use social media. Then later, social media can be scrutinized, and they could essentially say that we have to now make sure that everyone has a government-issued ID attached to every single social media account.
They're making their move for an internet ID to dial into banking so that, ISIS can't recruit online, when it's Hillary at Benghazi and the left that empowered ISIS and empowered them, and now they're going to try to use that. What do you think?
There's chatter in the intelligence community that it would be something along the scale of a chemical attack, a biological attack. It's going to be a way to attack Trump, attack
free speech on the internet. People like InfoWars Alex Jones would have some bit of finger pointing that the left could try to do and leftist media could try to do. And it would essentially just be to further roll out the next shift, the next phase in their whole social media game, which is take back social media because it was never designed to be a free speech platform from their perspective. This was always designed to just simply harvest information from the public so that they could better sort out who they're essentially going to control and cull.
They keep saying on CNN, MSNBC, Trump's going to cause violent attacks on the media.
One of the things that's alarming about this, besides the very real potential that this kind of anger can easily lead to violence, is that instead of taking steps to tamp down the anger, curtail the protesters, even just admonish them, the President of the United States has encouraged them.
When all he does is respond back to them and call them liars, and they're running around saying shut down the alternative media, people like me.
He's risk-free. He can rant as well as much as he wants without having to back up his claims.
And so I've been pointing out that I believe, and Paul Watson has said this, and Mike Adams has said this, and Roger Stone has said this, that they're either going to provocateur some crazy or they're planting a false flag on themselves or on big tech like Apple or Google or Twitter or something. Well, now I'm sure of it because I shot a live video last night that they took us off Twitter for where I said, I don't want any violence. Nobody should be violent. I think they're planting a false flag against big tech or against something like CNN.
You think Alex Jones is going to change his behavior based on a timeout?
I don't know. We have found that it does have the potential to change, impact, and change behavior.
They pulled the video and then had Lester Holt, New York Times, thousands of publications today say that I called for battle rifles to be used against the media.
Jones urged his Twitter followers to ready their battle rifles, as he put it, against the media.
And then they just show quotes where I talked about if Antifa attacks your house, if you're a congressman or a cop, they've doxed you, you should have your rifle ready at your house to defend yourself. And then they just show battle rifle as one quote, and then they say Antifa, Chi-Coms, the media. And then Holt says,
Alex Jones on Twitter posted this week what essentially is a video calling for people to get their battle rifles ready against the media, saying it's time to act, it's got to be done now, move criminally against people. Send a chill up my spine.
I know a PR rollout when I'm seeing it. And now CNN came out this morning and said Alex Jones is a domestic terrorist planning terror attacks with no links or no proof. So I'm sure now that this is one of their big October surprises in the next month or two, to stage something or provocateur something and blame it on me. But the fact that they're saying I'm calling for this when I never said it is chilling.
Alex Jones and InfoWars do not advocate violence against the media or anyone else. If there is an attack on any media outlet or any reporter, it is not countenanced by us, it is not advocated by us, it is not done by us. It is a false flag with the goal of blaming Alex Jones.
We must call Congress, we must call C-SPAN, we must call Talk Radio, we must get the articles out on Infowars.com. That's why they fear us so much, because we're dead on. And number one, they don't want us, once it kicks off, Millie, to be there in live time to analyze it.
The FCC has shut down controversial host Alex Jones's Liberty Radio and slapped it with a $15,000 fine, which it won't pay. The FCC chairman appeared before the Senate Commerce Committee. Ajit Pai says Jones's station was taken down because he was violating the law.
Normally, our pirate radio enforcement efforts don't make national news, but this one has, because the pirate radio station in question was airing Alex Jones's show.
But here's the good news, chumps. You think you're going to assassinate Trump or shut down the independent media and bully a bunch of us into going along with you?
I'd like reserve tolerance. Now.
I've gone from being willing to have a fight to wanting one at this point. And only the dumbest morons buy into your SJW globalist George Soros droppings.
Stabilize.
So to George
Emergency
Soros,
reserve.
Hillary Clinton, and the New World Order, and Michael Moore, go back to Hades, where you came from. We're awake, and you're not putting us back in the coma. You got that, Jack? You're done. It's over worldwide.
Get him back. Get him back.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Over 20 years ago, Alex Jones created the media platform called InfoWars, and in the decades since, it's grown into a truly remarkable institution with over 200 radio affiliates, tens of millions of unique website visitors monthly, and a 24/7 live news TV channel broadcasting from state-of-the-art studios in Austin, Texas. InfoWars has become the most trusted independent news source in the country, dedicated to delivering breaking news, live coverage of special events, and exclusive reports you won't find anywhere else. While the old guard media struggles to maintain supremacy in a landscape rocked by innovation and technology, InfoWars has been at the forefront of the information revolution. From 8 million radio listeners, over 2 million YouTube subscribers, or the billions of views of our online content, InfoWars proves dominant in every facet of media we enter. For the hardest-hitting reports, uncompromising analysis, for high-profile